Good morning. The Committee on Parole is called to order. Today is March 9th, 2023. Time is 8:31 a.m. The Committee on Parole is seated at DOC headquarters in Baton Rouge, Louisiana. With the staff at DOC headquarters, introduce yourself.
Good morning, Parole Board. I am Deputy Tate, and I have here with me Mr. Eric Carr from Orleans Parish.
Justice Center. With the staff at DOC, introduce yourself.
And I, Parole Williams.
Introduce myself.
The first remote location today is the Orleans Parish Justice Center. With the offender, please introduce yourself and give your Department of Corrections ID.
Eric Carr, DOC number 719463.
Officer Tate.
Yes, sir.
We need Daniel Alston.
I have all five gentlemen, sir.
Ready, Bob?
I have all five gentlemen that is requested for parole hearing today.
Okay, I need to see first Daniel Alston.
Okay.
Everybody on Zoom is for Daniel Alston.
Yeah.
Give us a second. We're gonna get Mr. Alston in the room. Good morning, Mr. Alston. How are you?
Good morning, sir. How are you?
Good. Would you please give your full name and your Department of Corrections ID?
My name is Mr. Daniel Renard Alston. My DOC number is 518203.
Okay. Mr. Alston, my name is Alvin Roche. To my left is Mrs. Pearl Wise. And to my right is Mr. Heath Freeman. You're here for a revocation hearing, is that correct?
Yes, sir.
And do you have a revocation questionnaire in front of you?
Yes, sir.
Okay, would you please take it out? Is all information on that questionnaire correct? Would you please?
Yes, sir. It's correct.
Okay. Is that your signature at the bottom?
Yes, sir. It is.
And you're going to be represented this morning with the attorney for the Orleans Parish Public Defender's Office. Please introduce yourself.
Good morning. I'll be representing Mr. Alston. My name is Addie McGuire. I'm also here with Brian Lars from our office, who is a social worker who's been working with Mr. Alston.
Thank you, Ms. McGuire. At any time, Ms. McGuire, you want to interject, we were asking or interviewing Mr. Alston, please let me know.
Okay, thank you.
1 second, Mr. Alston. Mr. Alston, you're here today because for a revocation hearing because you've been accused of violating the conditions of your parole supervision contract. I'm going to read out the violations. You have a charge of pleading guilty, guilty with a statement, not guilty, not guilty with a statement. To understand the process.
Yes, sir.
The parole board is conducting this revocation hearing because you've been accused of violating the following conditions. Violation, condition number 2, you failed to report for monthly visits in October of 22, November of 22, and December of 22. How do you plead?
Not guilty. With a state.
Not guilty with a statement.
Yes, sir.
Condition number 3, you moved from your address of record and failed to get permission before you did so. You left the state of Louisiana without permission, as illustrated by your arrest in Houston, Texas. How do you plead?
Excuse me, sir, I'm so sorry to interrupt. I think that perhaps this is not Mr. Alston's list of allegations or.
Okay, okay. You're right, and I'm sorry. Mr. Carr came up and 1 second, please. And I think, okay. Okay. Mr. Austin, let's do a duo. Let's erase everything that we've done so far with your permission. Do I have your permission to start off?
I'm sorry, sir. I didn't understand your last question.
Okay. We were reading the wrong violation. And we're going to do a do-over and we're going to start reading your violations again.
Okay, sir.
Good. The parole board is conducting this revocation hearing as you've been accused of violating the following conditions of your parole supervision contract. And you are Daniel Alston, DOC number 518-203. Is that correct?
Yes, sir, that's correct.
Condition number 4. You are arrested by probation and parole under item number K-00300 for illegal possession of a firearm by a convicted felon on November 1st, 2022. How do you plead?
Not guilty with a statement.
Charges were refused by all these magistrates in docket number 601159 on December 20th, 2022. Condition number 5. You were arrested by probation and parole under item number K-003-22 for the legal possession of a firearm by a convicted felon on November 1st, 2022. How do you plead?
Not guilty with a statement, sir.
Mr. Austin, your case has been assigned to Mrs. Pearl Wise. Would you please answer Mrs. Wise's question.
Good morning.
Good morning, Mrs. Wise.
Give us your statement now as to the allegation.
Oh, well, I just want to say that I'm not guilty. And as a man, I take full responsibility and accountability for not being more aware of what's going on and what's happening in my household. You know, I was working 6 days a week at Landry Seafood, 13-hour shifts. My mother has a rare form of lymphoma cancer, so I'm caught up in working, you know, taking care of her, taking care of my 9-year-old daughter. I live with a little brother also who's 33 years old, you know, who has no record, no criminal record at all of being in jail or anything like that. And I went to the Oshner's, Tom Benson Oshner's with my mom. I was taking care of her before this incident happened. And the doctor stated that she had 7 to 8 months to live. So preferably, you know, I've been in here 5 months of that time dealing with this, you know, allegation or whatever, you know. But like I said, I take full accountability and responsibility for me not being more better aware of, you know, what's going on around me and my surroundings. But, you know, I was working, I was taking care of my mother, you know, and she's in a real bad state right now, you know, and, you know, I just want to tell you I'm sorry, and I just want to get back to my mother so I can be there for her, you know?
So, thank you, sir. And I'm sorry to hear about your mom. That's unfortunate. What is your offender class, Daniel?
Say it again, Ms. Wise.
What's your offender class? What
Uh,
are your offender?
What is my offender class?
How many times you been convicted of a felony? Just guess. Off top of the head.
I want to say probably about 3 or 4 times.
Okay. So who did the gun belong?
My little brother.
He never accepted responsibility for.
You know, he's never been in trouble or nothing like that. I know he's scared and he's just, you know, he don't know what's going on, you know, because when the parole officers came in the room, came in there, you know, they came like 20, 25 of them, and they put the handcuffs on.
I understand all that, but you know you're a convicted felon. You can't have a gun around you. Wasn't a gun found in the room where your property was?
Not necessarily my property, but some of my things, yes.
Okay, some of your, not necessarily. So you're still saying that that room was not your bedroom?
No, it was not. And I can explain to you why.
You say what now?
I said, no, ma'am, it wasn't. And I can explain to you why.
Why?
Because we lived in that house ever since 36 years. I lived in that house, and I lived in all the rooms, and the room that he was in, that's the hottest room. Now the back room to the house has the computer in it with the computer against the wall. Now this is where the conflict comes in at. I sleep in that room at the end and he sleeps in the other room. Now, the only thing that we didn't switch out was our dressers, because I can't move my dresser into his room because the computer is in that wall. So I'm in the back room with his dresser and he's in my room with my dresser, because we can't switch the dressers into the room because the computer is in the back room with the desk. So that's what
I got. I'm saying that. Okay. Do you have any more statements about these allegations?
No, ma'am.
Thank you. That's all I had, Chairman.
Mr. Austin,
Yes, sir.
I understand that you can't move the dresser, but why can't you move the contents of the dresser? Your wallet, your credit cards, your parole papers. You went on parole 36 years ago. Your parole papers, your fees and everything was in that dresser. I can understand you can't move a piece of furniture, but you surely can move the content of that dresser from one room to the other.
Yeah, my dresser is bigger.
I just threw that out.
Okay.
That the rationale that you use doesn't hold water at all. By all evidence that we have from that parole officer, which documented that particular search is excellent. And from reading that document 2 or 3 times, I determined just by the information that the evidence overwhelmingly said that you slept in that room and that gun probably belonged to you. So why did you have, or your brother had, an extended magazine with that gun?
First of all, Mr. Roche, you know, I can't, you know, one thing I can't do and I'm not gonna do, I'm not gonna lie. For number one, you know, like I said, I work 13-hour shifts, 6 days a week, only off on Thursdays. I've been out there 7 months. I didn't have time to get in trouble. Now, out of 7 months, my parole officer came see me twice. And as on this same report that you have, that I have, we all have copies. They say at the end, they asked the parolee, well, I asked Officer Frederick, I also asked him where parolee Alston was located during his previous visits to the residence, and he stated that the parolee was a couch sleeper. So Mr. Frederick didn't even know where I slept at in the house in 7 months, you know, so I can understand, like you said, I could have moved the items out of the dresser into his dresser, but the only problem with that is I have a bigger dresser in that other room, and his dresser in the room that I sleep in was smaller. So basically we just switched rooms, but never moved the dressers and stuff like that. So like I said, I take full responsibility, sir, and accountability, you know, for me not handling the situation more properly and not being more aware of my surroundings by this thing can happen. And I'm sorry. I apologize. You know, it's nothing, sir, that I can tell you. You know, all I know is, you know, I've been in jail 5 months. You know, out of the 8 months that my mother life has said, you know, she's
I understand, Daniel. I understand.
One other question, Mr. Alston. Now, you said that your brother, who's 30-something, your little brother, 30-something years old, and never been in trouble. So what's the rationale for him having a gun?
Well, my little brother in 2021, the DeWine Brown got killed. And, you know,
Who's
my
the
little,
one found that in relationship to your brother?
oh, it's a cousin of ours. And
Okay.
he's just been over the edge, but I didn't have the opportunity
So
to do.
what's your answer? What's your answer for why your little brother, who had never been in trouble, would have a gun? That's all I'm asking.
It's probably because of the things that's going on out there, you know, the news, everybody's getting jacked, everybody's getting killed, people are getting robbed, people mamas getting dragged out their cars. You know, he always tell me, look, brother, you always at work, who gonna protect mama? I'm gonna protect mama. But, you know, I never paid it no mind because like I said, I'm working 13-hour shifts 6 days a week. I don't really have time to.
So your answer is you really don't know why he had a gun. Do you know why he had the gun?
I'm a assume why. I can't tell you the reason why because I didn't know he had a gun.
Okay, okay. Well, thank you.
Mr. Freeman. At this time, Ms. McGuire, would you like to make your presentation or would you like the social worker go further?
Yes, Judge, or I mean, parole board, I would love to. So I think that I want to highlight 2 things that Mr. Alston said. First, his accountability of responsibility that he recognizes that he needed to do a better job of staying on top of what was in the home and educating the people who he shared the home with, so his mother and his brother. I think Mr. Alston mentioned this at the beginning, but I think that ties very well into my second point. We're asking you, the board, to exercise discretion because Mr. Alston's mother is so sick, because Mr. Alston's mother doesn't have a long time to live. And Mr. Alston's mother, Mary, has been working to help support the family financially in Mr. Alston's absence. We've spoken with her several times, and I understand she's keeping a really busy work schedule in addition to attending chemotherapy sessions once a week. And so we're just asking for the board to exercise discretion for this man whose mother is sick, who doesn't have, who essentially is trying to hold it together on the outside in the absence of her son. Mr. Alston recognizes, you know, that he should have done a better job, that he should have educated Deshawn on what he could and couldn't have, that he should have taken that more seriously. And Mr. Alston, because he was working so many hours and because he was distracted, and I can attest personally, continues to be distracted in prison, worried about his mother, having that occupy his mind space, wasn't making those right proactive decisions that are expected when someone has a felony conviction. And so based on how Mr. Alston talks about his family and how Mr. Alston talks about his mother, I think that Mr. Alston, while the gun wasn't his, regrets everything that happens broadly, that he can't be there for his mother in the time of need. And so again, we're just asking for discretion. So regardless of what happened, Mr. Alston can go home and be with his sick mother and support her in this time of need. We understand that it's a big ask, but this is has been, I think, to not to put words in Mr. Alston's mouth, but a horrible year for Mr. Alston, and he just hopes to get home to his mother.
Ms. McQuarrie, do you have evidence that Landry's Seafood will rehire Mr. Alston?
I don't have evidence of that with me right now. What I do have, though, is Mr. Lars, the social worker at our office, has been working with Mr. Alston and has worked previously much of his job, and Mr. Lars, I'm sure, can speak of this better, but is helping offenders with reentry, with gaining work upon their reentry. And so Mr. Lars is prepared, if y'all do see fit to exercise your discretion and not revoke Mr. Alston, to help him find, if Landry's isn't willing to welcome him back after such a long absence, to help him be set up with a job. Obviously, that is something that there are things that weren't going well while Mr. Alston was on parole, but that is something that was going while Mr. Alston was working regularly, was helping financially support his family. And I think that that's something that he personally is interested in continuing, both for his mother and also for himself. And so I feel confident that if Landry's wasn't willing to accept him back, that Mr. Lars would be working with Mr. Alston to help him find a job that would.
Thank you, ma'am.
Ma'am, I just want to see that I hear you right. His mother is not here today because she's working.
So I'm not sure. I don't want to. Yeah, absolutely. I don't want to misrepresent where his mother is today. And Mr. Alston, I'm sure, can give more information about her work schedule. I don't know off the top of my head. What I can tell you is that Ms. Mary was present at Mr. Alston's preliminary hearing, and Ms. Mary has been in contact with our office. I know that between her work schedule and her chemotherapy schedule, although she has been in contact primarily with my investigator when this case was pending, she was between those two appointments, and on the one day off, as I understand it, on the one day off of work, she was attending chemotherapy.
Thank you, ma'am.
Mr. Lars.
Yes, sir. Good morning, Mr. Roche. Brian Lars.
We're ready for your presentation.
Yes, sir. Well, first of all, greetings to the board. Again, my name is Brian Lars, and I'm a social worker at the Orleans Public Defender's Office, and I've been doing this work for the past 4 years. What I would like to say is that, I've met with Mr. Alston on several occasions, working on his reentry plan. And, I tell you what I identified, in the time that I've met with Mr. Alston, was that he's someone that needs support. And I'm here for him, because the work that I do, I take very personal. And on several occasions, Mr. Alston expressed, because listen, I asked this question with all of the people that I serve, and it's a CBT kind of question, cognitive behavior therapy kind of question. And I asked him, I said, well, you being in the situation that you're in, do you think that you could have done what you could have done? And it's called a miracle question. What do you think that you could have done differently And Mr. Alston expressed exactly that. You know, he expressed that he could have been more aware of his surroundings. You know, listen, I believe in him, and many of the people that I serve and represent and deliver services to, they lack the support system, and I'm here for them. And I'm here for Mr. Alston because listen, I believe in him. I do. And this plan is detailed specifically to meet Mr. Alston's needs. Now, he's been working at Landry for the Pet Landry Seafood Restaurant in on West End, yeah, on the lakefront for 7 months. But if he can't get that job, I have several people that are willing to employ people who I work with. I'm gonna help him. I'm gonna help him get a job. I believe that he's motivated. I believe in him. And in this plan, one of the resources that I referred him to is a First 72 Plus. It's a agency, a organization that we work very closely with, and it provides services to our clients within the first 72 hours of release. And they have a mentoring program and also peer support groups, and they teach coping skills because these individuals, these young men need to learn coping skills, you know, and I do it a lot myself, you know, along with the resources that I connect them with to teach them how to deal with life on life terms. You know, Mr. Alston is not a bad person. He really is. He's somebody who's really, he reminds me, and I told him this, he reminds me a little bit of my little brother, you know, and I believe in him. So I'm gonna refer him to First 72. I have referred him to First 72, also to CADA, Prevention and Recovery. It's also a agency that we work very closely with. I think he could benefit from the services at CADA. You know, he'll be assessed, you know, for trauma, you know, any other underlying issues that might exist. You know what I'm saying? They have anger management. They have all kinds of services at CADA. And also, like I mentioned, I'm going to assist him with, you know, securing financial support, you know, maybe food stamps, but he ain't going to need no food stamps because he's motivated. He's a hard worker. He's going to work. I'm going to get him employed. Also, he's going to have daily access to our office. You know, he's going to have daily access to me. He's going to have my phone number. If he needs to work through any kind of difficult situation, that's what I'm there for all my clients. This is what I do. And along with that, listen, we set up to help. Listen, we set up so well over here at all these public defenders' office because we have a client services division that consists of several social workers, client advocates, investigators, and you know, all the work that I do is going to be complemented by those individuals. So, you know, he's set up to win. And like I said, I'm going to be here for Mr. Alston.
Thank you, Mr. Lawrence. Thank you. Mr. Alston,
Yes, sir.
would you like to make a brief closing statement?
I didn't hear your last comment, sir.
Would you like to make a brief closing statement?
No, sir.
It's time ready to vote.
I would recommend executive session, discuss confidential balance.
We have a motion on the floor going to executive session. We have a second. We call the roll. Yes.
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 The committee of roll is back in session. It is 9:02 a.m. Mrs. White.
Daniel, I really don't like anyone to have a gun but a probation officer. That's very concerning for me. But I'm going to today, because it's you, I am going to, my decision is do not revoke, return you to supervision, and you comply with the Orleans plan that they have set forth for you. You cooperate with that plan. You got a break today. I hope you use it wisely. Let's push this pretty well. That's my. Thank you, Chairman.
Thank you.
Hey,
Mr. Freeman.
Daniel, I concur with her. I firmly believe that gun was probably yours. But the bottom line is, you got 7 days to your compliance date. Your mother's sick, you need to be there for her. I hope you go do that. And the charges are dismissed. So, my vote is not revoke, to reprimand you as you already served 4 months and continue on super.
Thank you, Mr. Freeman. Mr. Austin, this morning is all about having mercy on an individual that has a situation at home. His mother needs him. She is terminally ill, and she needs to stop working. And as your attorney said, we have discretion. We have a wide range of discretion. In this case, because of your compliance date, your full-term date, and the situation with the mother, I'm also going to vote to do not revoke. But you must comply with the Alston Parish Public Defender's Office plan. You deviate from that plan, and you'll have problems again. You understand?
Yes, sir, I understand.
You have received 3 votes that do not revoke. Your supervision is continued. Thank you.
Thank you. I appreciate you. God bless you.